at our hotel, we have these various trainings, and usually it's stuff like there's an angry guest, how do you approach them? Stuff of how to deal with conflict. Last year, before COVID, when we still had all of our employees working, we did something called the hardest walk. Hardest is how we refer to our employees. And it was at first just silly little questions. Everyone started at the same line. And depending on how you answered a question, you'd either walk forward or you would walk backwards. Forward means progression, whereas back means oppressed, if you will. So at first we started with silly questions. Who's ever owned a pair of Nikes? Most people walk forward. Who's ever had a cheeseburger? Most people walk forward. Then it got it got deeper. Who has police sirens going off constantly in their neighborhood? And those people walked back. Who can walk outside their home and go to a fresh grocery store? Those people walk forward. And there were various topics that were very, very sensitive. It may have been about education. It may have been about domestic violence. It may have been about incarceration with family members. It may have been, who's ever been on a plane, and different things that just showed you the people who you work with come from very, very different backgrounds. And this is across the board, regardless of your title, what your race is. We all had different positions and different positions within the line activity. So when it was over, I thought to myself, okay, another activity where we all got to know each other a little bit more, and went on about my day. At the time, my coordinator, she asked to come speak with me, and she closed the door. So, anytime someone comes in your office and closes the door, it's serious. So she said to me, Ashley, I was so surprised to see you towards the back of the room. And I said, oh, why? And she said, you are a leader in the hotel. You've accomplished so many things. People look up to you. I look up to you. I can't believe that you've had to go through those things to get to where you are. And I was sort of confused when she said all of these things to me. And just to give you a background on her, she's an amazing girl who was, young, born in another country, and she had only been in the States maybe a handful of years. And so that's when I had to pause and say to myself, oh my goodness, you just don't know what backgrounds people come from. Here she is. She may not have had such diverse neighbors where she grew up, and she didn't understand the biases and rooted history that's in American history. And the way that she came to me just, with pure ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I really mean the definition of the word, not a negative connotation. It recharged my brain of, I can't hold any bias towards her. She's this beautiful, blonde, young girl that worked at our property, and I'm sure she gets certain biases looking the way that she did. And she didn't give me any with the way that I look, and couldn't believe that I had some. And it was an amazing reminder for me that, yes, maybe on a certain sort of form, I can check a few boxes, but not to everyone do I stick out as a woman or a woman of color. And she just saw me as a human, and she couldn't believe that I had hurdles to get through. And maybe I reminded her that someone could be at a successful place, but you have no idea what they did to get there. And she reminded me, just because someone looks a certain way does not mean they may have ill feelings towards me, and does not mean that they know what I've been through. So it was a fantastic opportunity, I think, for two very different people to just reset and remember that you have to give people a truly a fair, clean slate before you get to know them. And even after you get to know them, there may be a lot that you don't know. And it was a really great bonding moment for her and I think we both walked away with some really good knowledge.
Well, I applaud her for having the courage to come to you and not just sweep it under the rug, but to be able to have that conversation. And I think that's what we're all striving for right now, is being willing to have the conversation. And and then I also applaud you for being open to what she was saying to you, and to realize your own biases and your own need to eliminate those from your life. So kudos to you both for just having that wonderful bonding moment.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was good.